How are we doing today, folks? I hope you've had a good week so far. I hope you've stayed away from the flu and the bug that's going around. So since I've been gone, there's been some tragedies, of course, which is horrific. Most recently, the shooting done in Florida at the school, which left over 10 students dead and staff members dead. Horrific and sad, and that's sparked the gun debate. Now, I have several opinions on how to keep school safe and high school safe. My college specifically has a police department, as do many other colleges in the country. I'm not saying that high schools need to have that, because there's not as many students. But I'm saying there are certain measures that we can take that don't involve infringing upon the Second Amendment and taking away the guns from law-abiding citizens that we can pass in order to protect our students. And so I just want to debunk several points that the left continues to make in order to justify stronger, stringent gun control that is, one, doesn't work. That one just doesn't work, and two, infringes upon our Second Amendment rights and our rights to defend ourselves. So I'm just going to jot down the points and then go into further detail on certain things after that I feel could use a little more expounding upon. So I wrote the Institute of Medicine, and I have down here, the Institute of Medicine and National Research Center Council, of the CDC, has that 500,000 through 3 million people saved per year, depending upon a year, due to gun defense. So this is in 2013. So per year, around 500,000, 3 million people are saved due to defending themselves with a gun. Okay. Next point. Most gun injuries don't result in death. So I have right here as well. In 2010, incidents in the U.S. involving firearms injured or killed more than 105,000 Americans, of which there are twice as many non-fatal firearm-related injuries than deaths. In which there were, twice as many non-fatal firearm-related injuries than deaths, so over 73,000. So most people that are killed by a firearm, most incidents that involve a firearm do not result in a fatality. Okay, now obviously would we like to have less incidents with a firearm? Yes. Whether it's because people aren't being attacked or because people aren't trying to shoot other people for evil reasons, of course. Next point. In 2000 through 2010, 61% of over 335,600 people who died from guns were suicide. So 61% of the 335,600 people who died from guns was suicide. This is from 2000 to 2010. So even most people that die from guns, it's not from an evil person breaking into your home or a school shooter or something like that, or even defense. It's from people killing themselves, which is a horrific statistic. But it's just to show that people aren't going out there shooting each other everywhere like the Wild West, like the left is trying to claim. Moving on. So this is from forefront.org and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention as of 2016. 44,000 people die by suicide each year, with 51 to 52% being by firearms. So of the 44,000 that kill themselves this year, which is another horrific statistic. We don't want anyone committing suicide, of course. I hope you wouldn't. 51% is with guns. Okay, the rest is from hanging themselves, from poisoning themselves, and other means. If we're going to think that taking guns away is going to stop those people from committing suicide, we're mistakenly wrong. It's absolutely asinine to believe in such a thing, that taking away guns, that if half the people that commit suicide are committing suicide without guns, then taking away guns, they're going to stop the other half from killing themselves. This is going to find other means to kill themselves, as we can see from the other 48%. Moving on. So the left is talking about other countries such as England and Australia and their gun confiscation programs, their gun banning programs, and gun control programs, and how they've been working. Okay, they haven't been working, and I'm going to show some statistics that exemplify that. So, for example, England and Wales in 1997 passed a handgun ban. This is from the Crime Prevention Research Center as in 2013, and they stated homicide spikes by 50%. Okay, homicide spiked by 50% from 1996 to 2002, and it's still slightly higher than before. So not only did homicide spike after the gun buyback, the gun banning, and handgun ban in England and Wales in 1997, but actually it's still slightly higher now, or at least as of 2013, still slightly higher than it was before. Even if it isn't, even if it's the same now or just slightly lower, that just shows that the years after, almost 20 years after such a ban, and the homicide crime is still up, that shows that the gun ban doesn't, this handgun ban didn't work. Okay, it's insignificant, utterly insignificant, and it showed that it was even a little higher up as well. Not even flat, but a little higher up than usual as well, than before the ban. Moving on. So let's go to Australia. Okay, let's go to Australia. So this is from the Federalist. I found this off of the Federalist. They usually lean right, or they do lean a little right. So check it out for yourself. Check out their sources. If you disagree, then try to find out your own facts and see if that holds up to the evidence that they show. So at the time of 1996, which was the gun buyback program, which basically forced people to turn to the guns, or else forced people to sell their guns to the government, or else the government would send people with guns to your house to arrest you or whatever. So at the time of 1996, Australian confiscation, over 600,000 guns were taken. Over 600,000 guns were taken. The U.S. was making twice as much and nearly identical, twice as much guns and nearly identical to the fall in gun homicides. So what they're saying is, so after the U.S. gun ban, after the Australian gun confiscation in 1996, crime spiked. Not only that, violent crime, homicide rates and violent crime had been steadily declining since before then. Same thing with the U.S. And many other countries in the Western civilization. Violent crime and homicides have been declining. And then after this, in Australia, certain crimes actually spiked. For example, it says certain crimes like armed robbery, manslaughter, and sexual assault actually peaked in years after the confiscation. Probably because people didn't have the guns down to defend themselves from armed robbers and from sexual assaulters and so on and so forth. So they took away the right for people to defend themselves, or the ability of people to defend themselves, like women, for example. So going back to the point I made before that, but while the U.S. was making double the amount of guns that they usually make in the 90s, Australia was confiscating over 600,000 guns, and both their crime rates, both their homicide rates were decreasing at the same time. Almost identical. So that's just another. And look. And another point. This is from the United States DOJ. Violent crime fell 72% from 1993 to 2011 with no gun ban. Violent crime in the U.S. once again fell 72% from 1993 to 2011 with no ban at all. Okay, so this gun ban, these handgun bans, these gun confiscations, it's crap. It's utter crap. It's crap used by the left. There's still violent crime in Australia, and violent crime really hasn't changed all that much, and homicides really haven't changed all that much either. And not only that, Australia has 24 million people, a little over 24 million people. The U.S. has 320 million people with 325 million guns. Okay, and to say that the U.S. is gun crazy, to say that the U.S. is so much more violent than these other countries, is an absolute fallacy. It's amazing. And it's because of our principles and our morality and our values that we don't have more gun crime, don't have more crime in general with the amount of people that we have, and violent crime in general with the amount of people that we have, and the diversification of cultures, in this country. It's amazing how we are, in some cases, less violent than other countries, other Western countries in the world, and that our violent crime has been decreasing with theirs, as well as our violent gun crime. Okay, so gun banning and gun control doesn't work. As we can see, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, other big cities that have strong gun control laws, there's more violent crime. There's more gun deaths because criminals don't care about these laws. You're a criminal for a reason. And not only that, if you have these gun control measures, now people who are law-abiding good people that don't have a gun that can protect themselves are going to be killed or harmed or have their valuables stolen or whatever by these bad people with guns. That's what people don't understand. Okay? As I said, depending on the year, 500,000, 3 million people are saved their lives, saved their livelihood, or even just protect their family because they have a gun from other people, from other bad guys, maybe with guns, maybe not, maybe without guns, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we just see the mass shootings and they're horrific, and I would hope we would have none. But the fact of the matter is that the left is not focused on how many people's lives are saved every year, which is exponentially more than the amount of people that are killed in the mass shooting or are killed because of street violence and gang violence. Exponentially more people are saved by having a firearm. Either to save themselves or their neighbor or whatever. And let's go to some other points real quick, and I'll finish up. So, this is from the FBI as well. FBI crime statistics. Death by knives outnumber deaths by rifles 5-1. Okay, so everyone start cutting your steak with a fork, I guess. 37,461 people died in car crashes as of 2016. Okay, 37,000 people died in car crashes in 2016. Why don't we get rid of cars? Oh, that's right, because they're a net good to society. Regardless of all the deaths, which are tragic and horrible and sad. But for someone to sit out there and to stand there and to say we should get rid of cars would be absolutely, they'd be crazy. They should be in a mental institute. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I have any more points that I did not go over. I believe I went over most of the points. So real quick, when it comes to protecting our students, I think it comes down to the county and to the state. I think there should be an officer or two in every school that is willing to run in there when the shooter is there. Okay? I'm not against a principal or a vice principal and a few teachers being armed that go through background check, that go through certain courses, right? To make sure that they're well trained to do so. I'm not against that as well. I'm not for arming every teacher, but maybe certain people that it's undisclosed that they have guns, or it could be disclosed, whichever. But just but at least an armed person that the school shooter knows is on campus. Okay. When it comes to the case of Nicholas Cruz, which I know we've all heard, the FBI failed. Okay, tipped off twice about him, did nothing. The kid called the cops on himself. The cops did nothing. The kid was visited 39 times by law enforcement. The law did nothing. Okay? 4 officers stood outside the school while kids died. And then the sheriff, those officers, had the audacity to stand in a town hall to say that we should give our guns away and that he's been being a great leader and has been showing great leadership and that we should just trust him to protect us. Okay? This guy's an absolute clown and a liar. Absolute clown and absolute liar. He should resign immediately, just like the other officers that stood outside and let the kids die. Okay? The officers didn't do their job. This was a government failure through and through, and it is absolutely horrific and abhorrent for the left to try to infringe upon our rights as Americans and our rights as individuals to protect ourselves and protect our livelihood and our families and our loved ones. Okay? It's abhorrent for them to sit there and try to infringe upon our rights just for based off of fallacies and lies that have to do with other countries as well. Okay? Because the U.S. Actually, here's a statistic that I just remembered and I forgot. When it comes to actual mass shootings in other countries, and the U.S., the U.S. is actually 31st. This is from the Crime Research Prevention Center. The U.S. is actually 31st in overall gun violence in the world. 31st. Now, I'd like it to be 0, of course, but of all the people and the guns and different cultures and everything else that in the U.S. is 31st. Okay, that is a crazy 31st, behind some significant Western countries as well. Not only that, the U.S. is the 11th, in the 11th place for mass shootings. Now, is that a bad place to be? Yeah, I don't want to have any mass shootings, of course. But that's behind Norway, France, and Germany. So the U.S. is behind Norway, France, and Germany with mass shootings. And we have more guns, we have so many more guns, so many more people, and so many more diverse ethnicities and mindsets in this country. Okay, Norway and France and Germany are more ethnically similar than the U.S. is. Than the U.S. is to per capita. Okay, the U.S. has a multitude of different peoples. Norway is mostly white, and their ethnicity and the culture is pretty static through and through. Okay, and they have more mass shootings than the U.S. does. This is the human condition problem. Okay, conservatives and those on the right believe that humans are fallen. In my Christian view, humans are fallen. They're susceptible to evil and to hate and to sin. Okay, they're not born naturally good. They're born selfish. We're born egotistical. We need to be taught morality and taught morals. Okay, we need to be and we need to be taught away from this righteous indignation that just because you're offended, you're allowed to now cause violence and harm others and destroy the property of others, like Black Lives Matter, for example, and Antifa. Okay, the left is the reason why so many of these violent crimes are happening. So the reason why it's so much of a violent. We have the welfare state. We have the degradation of the family unit because of it. That the left supports, and then the left wants to take away your right as an individual to protect yourself when 99.5% of gun owners are law-abiding good people. Okay, but because the people that break the law and break the law to own a gun, okay, and they want to because they commit crimes every day and mass shootings that is a fault of the government and of the local governments and really needs to be addressed by a mental health issue, not by a gun issue. Because these things are happening, the left is using it and lying it and twisting it to try to take away your guns and try to take away your right as an individual and as a citizen of the United States. And that's absolutely horrendous. So folks, I'm going to start making videos more regularly. I'm writing articles more regularly as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, like, hate, doesn't matter to me. Go visit my Twitter page at TCC1776, my Instagram as well. And send me any comments of any questions that your professors say in class, or things you're unsure of or whatever, and I'll make a video about it. So there's so many different points to cover. PragerU has good videos on this. One that dives into the Second Amendment, is gun ownership a right, and another one, what should we do about guns, which just basically talks about Australian gun ban and some other things as well, about how gun bans don't decrease in violent crimes. Okay, it's people, it's culture, it's values, it's morals, it's ethics. Not only that, but mass shootings are really more of a modern historical phenomenon. We have a people problem. We have an evil problem. We need to address that. We have a mental health problem. We need to address that. We don't address that by taking away the rights of good law-abiding citizens. Anyways, folks, hope y'all come back soon. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Wyatt, and let me college conservative.